Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to finish up if statements by adding the final layer of logic to them. By the end of this video, you'll understand the importance of using condition statements within your code and how they can be used to manipulate the flow at which your program runs. With that being said, let's get started. To start off, I want to take a look at the general form of the new type of if statement. It is used together to string together a collection of if statements. Like I mentioned in the previous video, we didn't really have a good way to check to see if Ralph was under 18, over 21, or in between the two. To do that, we would have to implement 3 different if statements, and that's just kind of ugly. Thankfully, we have the if, else statement. If this looks really confusing to you, I would recommend taking a look at our first video. I'll put a link in the top right hand corner, or you could take a look in the description below. To string together a collection of if statements, you're going to use the elif statement. The elif statement should always follow after an if statement and before an else statement. So let's take what we learned and use that to help us determine whether or not Ralph is in between 18 and 21. To do that, we'll type in elif, and this acts just the same way as if we were to type in if. So we could do elif, so if age is greater than 18 and it's less than 21, we're going to print out I am over 18 but under 21. Pretty simple. And then if we save this and run it, since Ralph's age is 18, we get I am not over 21. Let's clear this to make this a little bit easier to read. If we change his age to 20, save it, run it, now we get I am over 18 but under 21. One thing you have to know when you're stringing together a group of if statements is once one condition in the string of if statements comes back valid, the code in that statement is executed and all the other statements are left unchecked. So essentially, if this one comes back true, this code will be executed within here and the compiler will not check the other conditions within the following statements. It'll execute this and it will essentially just pick up right after this else statement. Just completely ignores all of these. So this kind of helps you judge on whether or not you want to string together a list of if statements or not. If you wanted to check the condition of this one and also check this regardless of whether or not that condition is valid, then you know you would want to make this an if statement and not an elif statement. That's why we have this one in its own separate if statement, because that wouldn't make sense to string these together. Because if we ran this, we know Ralph's age is 20, so we should also print out my name is Ralph, but he should also print out that he's in between 18 and 21. But if we save this and run it, you'll see that my name is Ralph is the only thing that's printed, because once one of these comes back valid, all the others are ignored. And one more thing before I end this video, I did forget to mention a type of assignment operator in the previous videos. It's the not equals or not greater than symbols. So you can do something like this. So what this would do is if name does not equal Ralph, print this out. So if we were to change this back to the if statement to unlink those, we'll save this and run it. And we'll just get the in between 18 and 21 part, because these two strings are equal to one another. Now, if I were to change this to a lowercase r and save it, run it, now we do get the old output, but that's only because these two strings are not equal to each other. So to include the not equal or not greater than, you have to put a exclamation point in front of the assignment operator. So it looks like that's it for if statements. I hope the concept wasn't too difficult to understand. As always, if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. In the next video, we're going to discuss dictionaries. They're very similar to lists, so if you haven't seen that video or you're still having a little trouble with lists, I would highly recommend that you go back and rewatch that video before continuing. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.